Hello, hello. This is Dr. Kevin from the New Renaissance. We help take DCs from where they are to where they want to be. Thank you for tuning into our webinar featuring the top 10 mistakes female chiropractors make in practice. For those of you watching this live, congratulations. You're going to be rewarded with your participation with a free promo code to unlock lots and lots of freebies. One of which is the opportunity to coach with me one-on-one for 4 weeks at no charge. This offer is almost like an early Christmas gift from me to you. Heck, what am I saying? It's a gift from you to yourself. When's the last time you really treated yourself? When's the last time you did something for you, not others? Before we get started, I want to quickly answer a few frequently asked questions, if you will. Tell a little bit about myself. Number one, this webinar is streaming live, but it's also being recorded. We will later post the recording so that you can watch it again and again. Yes, you can re-watch it, or someone can even watch it for the first time, but the 4 weeks of free coaching offer, it's only redeemable by those of you that are watching it live, okay? Those are the rules. Many of you who are watching this on your couch or in your pajamas, don't worry, no one can see or hear you, okay? Our settings have been made so that only my screen and voice will be shared. So no one's looking at you, okay? You can submit any and all of your questions to our private email or to the question box on your screen. We've reserved time throughout this webinar for questions and answers. A little bit about me. I'm Dr. Kevin Pallas, and I'm the head coach at TNR. What this means is that I work one-on-one with lots of chiropractors, naturopaths, and many other business leaders to construct a specific plan to help guide them towards personal and professional success and happiness. Cookie cutter exercise plans, financial plans, they don't work because they don't cater or recognize the needs of each person's specific challenges. We're all different people facing different problems, and that's where I come in. We have a ton to talk about today, so I don't want to blab too much about myself. So if you have any questions about me or TNR, feel free to message us or look at it on our website. You may be asking yourself, why is a guy presenting the 10 mistakes female DCs make? Great question. Let me answer it with a brief story. I remember one of the first female DCs I ever helped was a woman who had a spouse who was very negative and sarcastic about her practice. He thought her practice was a joke. He complained about her always being away from the kids, never home, the dwindling finances, everything. Whenever they got into an argument, which was frequent, he would use anything about her practice against her. She was at her wit's end when she joined our program. I asked her how she liked her practice, and although she liked helping people, it was draining. Patients and coworkers told her what to do, and she was merely getting by, just getting by, sometimes not even paying herself. When I asked her how her marital relationship was, and she said it was running on fumes. We made an agreement right then and there, and I said, watch what happens in all areas of your life when you can be more efficient, more profitable, and have a much more fulfilling practice. She agreed, and the results changed her life. It's in this spirit that I created this webinar. Mistake number one is being a people pleaser. Now, honestly, people pleasers don't do well in practice. I'm not kidding you. Oh, sure, they're well liked, and people will come in, but under their own terms, which in the majority of cases is for short-term adult pain relief. Now, come on, people. These aren't your most exciting cases. Let's be honest. But because you're a people pleaser, you allow this to happen over and over again. It spirals downward, out of control. And then every patient, it almost seems like you're wearing a sign or something that says, take advantage of me. Because when it comes to your recommendations, your finances, or just about anything else in your office, you're being taken advantage of. Not only does people pleasing hit you in the pocketbook, you also, here's the biggie, you get inferior clinical results because they didn't come in often enough. The biggest cost is your loss of freedom because people will tell you how to practice their way with a few visits of adult pain relief only. Kids, wellness, ongoing care of any type will be laughed at by most of your people. Getting commitment from people who see you as a people pleaser, oh boy, it's not going to happen. You need to stand up for yourself, your abilities, and for chiropractic. This will be hard for more reasons than one, but trust in the process. I promise you. And when you do, you'll have some patients who may leave, and some people may shrug you off. But look at the other side of the coin. The poor quality patients are leaving and are making room for better practice members who listen to your recommendations, who want what you have, and believe it or not, they want you in front of them as a leader, not their friend. They're allowing new patients in your office who you're going to be a fit for and you're most able to help. People who, for the first time, they're going to respect you. These new practice members will continue chiropractic care for themselves and their families. Is that not exciting? Mistake number 2 is letting the opinions of others affect the way you practice. Sometimes it seems like many female chiropractors actually wear a sign around their necks that says, "Please give me unsolicited feedback," especially in smaller or modest offices. Always remember, you're a leader in health, not a follower in disease. You represent the solution, while most patients are still stuck in the problem. Now, some patients tell you that you don't spend enough time with them. You've heard that before. If only they knew how little time they get with their beloved MDs. They also say things like, "Do you really think this treatment is necessary?" You let patients get you off track by talking about subjects that don't have anything to do with your office. You listen to them when they compare you with their old boyfriend. I mean, their old chiropractor. I know a great female chiropractor who, when she first joined TNR, she had a patient who insisted on telling her everything that was wrong with her office. This DC actually changed her hours, moved her weekly health awareness seminar day. She actually moved the day to another day that was more convenient and let this unsolicited advice and her practice, they plummeted. And that's the thing in America. One of the liberties granted us is to discuss and talk about things that we're not expert in and act like we know what we're actually talking about. When she finally joined our program and we restored law and order in her office, her statistics rose dramatically, and her well-intentioned patient dropped out of care and was replaced by lots of other patients that wanted exactly what she had. See, it's very hard to hear criticism and to not let it affect you. It's even harder to set goals for yourself in practice without a plan of how to get there. Ignore the suggestions of others and focus on yourself. Make a plan and go for it. Have someone in your corner who will keep you accountable with this goal. Hint, hint, this person cannot be a friend of yours, but we'll get into more of that later. Mistake number 3 may surprise some of us. And that is inadequate recommendations. If you're constantly hearing, "I can't afford it," "I'll have to ask my spouse," "I'll have to check my calendar," or a variation of "I'm too busy," look at your clinical results. Are they results from difficult cases and committed practice members, or are they results from short-term adult pain relief? Big difference. Many chiropractors, they inadvertently shrink their recommendations against their better judgment in order to avoid rejection and confrontation. With the national average, of number of visits that a chiropractor sees people, it's less than 8. Is it any wonder that the new patient pool is shrinking to include only acute pain relief patients that respond to care in a handful of visits? Imagine being a personal trainer restricted to a handful of visits each time, a handful of workouts rather. Simply can't be done. Same thing in your office. Inadequate recommendations for a short period of time will warrant little to no success. You think you're doing your patients a favor by working around their exaggerated busy schedules to come to you. Like a coddling parent, you're only making it worse on the kid. You're actually invisibly creating inferior clinical results. As you're well aware of, by the time a patient enters your office, their condition, unless it's a gunshot wound, is chronic. and has been building for some time now. Even though a heart attack happened instantly, it takes years to build up. Same with all diseases, conditions, etc. They may seem to just have happened, but they're actually chronic in nature. If it takes time to get that way, if you will, it's going to take some time to regain your health. When you have inadequate recommendations, you're going to get poor clinical results with anything other than easy surface pain, which responds rather quickly. You'll steer clear of all difficult cases. You're not going to like them. You're going to steer clear. You're going to refer them out. Chronic children's conditions, because no matter how great your clinical skill happens to be, you will not create results with inadequate recommendations. You're simply not going to see them often enough. One of the biggest reasons female chiropractors join TNR is to reduce dependency on insurance coverage. Not only for the reasons mentioned, but now you need less staff, and your staff's focus will be on growth, not insurance guidelines. Ask yourself, are you the doctor or is the insurance company the doctor? Good question. We started to touch upon mistake number 4 a few minutes ago, and that's way too much friendship and not enough leadership. Simply put, as a friend, you cannot ask for the commitment to care. And part of your agreement as a friend is accepting them just as they are. Men and women behave differently in more ways than one. One of these differences is the importance of relationships. Women put more effort, way more effort into their relationships. And in doing so, as a female chiropractor, patients expect to talk about non-chiropractic topics during their appointments. Over time, this changes the doctor-patient relationship into a friend-friend relationship. As a friend, patients are going to take shortcuts, and will take advantage of you, all in the name of friendship. So, how are you going to fix this? You're not going to turn into a bitchy, angry person, but you are going to have to learn how to establish boundaries with your patients. Friendship is not the function of your relationships with patients. Leadership goes way beyond friendship. You're going to ask for and hold patients accountable through thick and thin to get the results that they want, and guess what? You want also. Friendship cannot do this. Looking back at many difficult things you've successfully accomplished in your life, friends could not hold you accountable. It was that special coach, teacher, someone other than a family and friends that would not accept your excuses. It might have been fun, it might have been not fun rather, going through it, but looking back at it, you're very proud of your accomplishments, and it was worth putting in your best effort. Have you experienced friends coming into your office as patients? Yeah! Everything from free care to relaxed care recommendations, your regular protocol flies out the window, as does your results, respect, and economics. Many extremely successful female chiropractors in TNR started TNR with a list of acquired bullies. It's a natural consequence of way too much friendship and not enough leadership. People in their lives learned that they could take advantage of them from spouses, kids, in-laws, parents, friends, insurance companies, IRS, etc. Learning how to set boundaries in all facets of your life, professionally as well as personally, is the hallmark of TNR. Mistake number 5 is one that is again not talked about but spoken in hushed tones. The guilt about being away from your family. This works on a constant, subconscious basis against female DCs. Everyone you meet in society will lay this guilt on you for being away from your family. Translation, you can't be successful and have a great family life too. It's one or the other. It's simply not true. You'll notice that when anything goes wrong with your children, well-intentioned advocates of this belief, maybe spouses, maybe in-laws, teachers, siblings, they're going to chime in. If you were at home more often, this would never have happened. Truth be told, this is an outdated, unrealistic concept that will never, you're not going to live up to it. Sacrificing your personal needs and dreams for all the needs of others around you is a surefire recipe for disaster. Now face it, your kids are at school for what? 6 hours a day. With after-school activities, another 2 to 3 more hours. You can't be there with your kids all day long. You had your dream of helping people in many instances long before you started having kids. You must find a balance that works for you. Having a practice that doesn't fulfill your needs is not doing you or anyone else for that matter any favors. So many female chiropractors upon joining TNR always complain of tiredness, exhaustion. Sleep time is the only way of getting away. They may say it different ways, including a sense of overwhelm, depression, blueness, being out of sorts, anxiety, etc., but it's still there. Regardless of how many hours you choose to practice, your best should go into them and the best version of yourself as well. Guilt about being at your practice gives your brain mixed messages and always leads to lowered income, marital strain, and a low sense of accomplishment and joy in your life. A doctor from the Midwest has a question on number 3, inadequate recommendations. She says, and I'm paraphrasing just a little bit, but Dr. Kevin, you got to admit, if an insurance company will only cover so many visits, that has to be our recommendations. Now, before you listen to this webinar, you might agree with that, but since you've listened to it now, think about it. If insurance only covers so much, use that to help defray the costs, but you can go outside of those guidelines. They can actually pay you. I know it sounds hard to believe, but there's many people watching this that have bigger cash practices, meaning that more of the income that comes in is from cash. So don't let the insurance companies push you around. You can use it as a guideline, but don't think that great practice members, great patients in your office, if they want results, they'll gladly pay outside of the insurance recommendations. So tell people what they really need. Don't water it down with insurance recommendations. Thanks for the question. Mistake number 6 is not setting boundaries. Uh-oh. No boundaries equals becoming the proverbial doormat for your patients. We've touched on this before, but this is such a recurring theme that it makes the list one more time. When we have no boundaries with our patients, they don't respect us and they don't feel safe because you are not a leader in their minds. If they do not feel safe, they will not disclose the truth about their problems and will not follow up with your care plan. Letting the proverbial inmates run the asylum is an outdated way to practice. Not only will your clinical results slip, your economics will be non-existent and you'll plummet towards a hobby practice. You'll also become a magnet once word gets around town for low committed patients. Uh-oh. This also leaks over to your CAs. They will also not respect you and walk all over you, showing up late, putting in just enough effort not to get canned, etc. You will have people who think that they're doing you a favor by being on your team instead of having great teammates like we all want. In TNR, one of the first things that gets fixed is our team, if you will. You want people who exceed your expectations, not merely meet them. Clerks are all right for hobby style, just paying bills type of practices, but if you want dynamos for CAs, if you want to increase your income 3, 5, or 10-fold, or even 20-fold, you got to have the dynamo. You can't have a clerk. In our relationships at home, no boundaries has many forms, including the inability to say no. You do things you don't want to do. Your time is always taken up doing things you'd rather not. And each time you say yes, when you actually mean no, something deep inside of you dies. When you learn how to establish boundaries, your life will change for the better in all so many ways. TNR-style practices are filled with your favorite types of patients because of this ability to serve people who you love to serve and let the others, if you will, go and demand their unrealistic expectations be met somewhere else. Practicing an outdated model of practice is mistake number 1 in my heart, but it's not about me. It's mistake number 7 in this webinar. This one mistake will change your practice forever. Invisibly, we as DCs were trained to be an expert in relieving pain and symptoms only. As a result of our training, we offer only this one type of care. There's another distinct and different way to practice that restores a chiropractor's freedom and economics. It's the paradigm of health instead of disease. It offers 3 distinct types of care, including condition, correction, and wellness. Remember in school when we had to pass exams, boards, and license tests about classifying, naming, diagnosing illnesses? This way of thinking resides within the problem and not the solution. Sure, you can name or classify a disease, but does that really bring forth the solution? Knowing that you are overweight does not ensure that you will lose the weight. Knowing that you're an alcoholic will not help you stop drinking. When you live in the blue circle, you'll see this on your webinar. When you live in the blue circle, health is the focus, whether you are with or without symptoms. Millennials and Generation X's, they demand more than one type of care. They'll go to dentists, and for the most part, it's not to have their cavities filled. They go for preventative procedures, sealants, oral health, whitening, etc. Dentists have adapted to the changing demands of their patients by offering more than just drill and fill and tooth extraction. Many chiropractors are stuck in an outdated adult pain relief only model that is just killing their practices. Almost like a lawyer, people call these chiropractors when they're in trouble and get rid of them as quickly as possible. Not only is it outdated, it simply leaves the chiropractor unfulfilled economically as well as devoid of purpose. Mistake number 8, hobby practice. Why are the majority of hobby practices female practices? Now, regardless of the number of hours you choose to devote to your practice, your office should be booming. Gone are the days of the 60 to 70 hour work week with minimal returns. When you hear female chiropractors speak of almost no return from their practices, they're simply out of fair exchange. They have forgotten the miracles that happen in their offices, and their value for chiropractic has dropped. They get worn down by their patients, life in general, family activities, the media, and they get stuck. The good news is that chiropractors are adaptable, and female chiropractors are especially adaptable and willing and able to ask for and implement help. Spoiler alert, before GPS, a guy would rather stay lost than ask for directions. Women are more willing to try new things and go in new directions. You will be unstoppable with this new updated model of practice. More and more female chiropractors are being less and less insurance dependent for this very reason. The principle of T&R works in any office regardless of location, technique, etc. It works, period. Mistake number 9, being all things to all people. It's just not possible. And you're going to be looking at a diagram that T&R created, and it's called the sweet spot. Now, it has a vertical axis called involvement, and it has a horizontal axis called commitment. And where they intersect is called the sweet spot, okay? So as you're looking at that, I want to talk, first of all, about practice members that are outside the sweet spot, okay? Outside the sweet spot. Now, here's some of their characteristics. Number 1, they don't think of themselves as being very powerful people. Number 2, they offer you resistance. And here's the thing about resistance. It sounds like this. I can't. Whether it's can't afford it. I'm too busy. I can't. It's almost like a mantra for them. Okay? They stay isolated. They don't like to join. They want to stay isolated. They have a profound sense of entitlement. Someone's going to do it for me, my insurance company, the government, etc. You can't satisfy their expectations ever, so don't bother trying. They like to observe life. They don't like to experience life. They like to watch it. Okay, they're kind of sedentary-ish, if you will, people. And they're going to treat you as a commodity. What does that mean? They're looking to get rid of you as quickly as they can. They treat you like a coupon. It doesn't make any difference. It's just a coupon, boom. The amazing thing is that when you're in the sweet spot, You're not a coupon. People will pay full fee, whether it's a coupon or a Groupon. It doesn't make any difference. They want you. Look at the difference in the quality of people. They feel powerful. They want to lift you up. They want to take you under their wing. They want to refer people to you rather. They're wonderful people. They cooperate. They don't want to resist you. They cooperate. They have a mantra, and it says something like this: I'll find a way. And sometimes they put a little profanity. I'll find a you-know-what kind of way. And they'll say the word. They love to enter relationships. They accept and embrace new concepts. There it is right there. They leave you energized. You know exactly the type of person. They come in on an ongoing basis. They may be going to the hairdresser after they get done with you. They have their whole life, and you're part of it. You're on their terrain map. Every week you're there. They're easy to handle. They don't bitch and moan and complain. They pay on time. They'd never rip you off, and they only take a few minutes. They're your VIP. You love them, and guess what? They love you as well. Again, they participate and experience life. They accept responsibility. They know health is their responsibility. They accept it. And here's the big one. They want to join a community. They don't want to treat you as a commodity. They'll pay full fee. They want to, again, join a community. So when we looked at the involvement level, a lot of people who are skeptical and negative, they're really complacent in life. It's not just your office. People out of the sweet spot. It's not just health that they're out of the sweet spot. They don't like to join relationships. They don't like to be a part of things, and they don't like to do things new. So anytime you try to be all things to all people, it's not going to work well for you, and it's not going to work well for them. So look at this diagram and really, in your mind's eye, focus on the people that will allow you to serve them the best. And again, you've never seen this sweet spot diagram, you'll never forget it. Mistake number 10, isolation and lost confidence. Here's another subtle or an invisible one, and yet, according to my opinion, this acclaims more great female DCs than any other reason. Spoiler alert, female chiropractors, you guys have got to wear more hats than male DCs. It's a fact. From raising kids to running a household, school activities, females and especially moms are supposed to be superhuman. You feel like everyone in your life wants a piece of you, and there's no time for what you want to do. More females associate than male doctors, by associate working for other people, and some of them are asked to do things that are more in line with being a CA rather than a DC. It's been my experience with coaching hundreds of female chiropractors, even though they're surrounded by people all day long, they still feel isolated, scared, and yet they can't regroup, take time off from being married, kids, etc. Having your back up against a wall with nobody in your corner is no way to grow your practice. Trying to figure things out on your own or look up yet another guru online is futile. When things don't go well in practice, they're subtle and not so subtle signs of our lost confidence. How does this express outside of our office and even inside? Crabbiness, resentment, lack of gratitude, feeling too spread out of sorts, anxiety, loss of joy, purpose, etc. Time and time again, we hear this theme with testimonials from TNR DCs like you'll see on these pages. They got their confidence back, their mojo, and their whole lives, not just their practices, their whole lives when they joined a group, a movement of like-minded chiropractors who support and encourage each other even though they may not live in your town. Boy, this is a great question, and it's more than just one or two mistakes. This person happens to be from the state of Delaware, and this female chiropractor wants to know this. Do some of these mistakes we make extend to our CAs? Wow, what a great question. And she's writing that her CA sometimes isn't punctual. Uh-oh. sometimes isn't collecting the money that she's supposed to, and sometimes she doesn't treat her with respect. And you can tell when this person was writing the question that it really bothered that person. And here's the thing. Our team should reflect what we believe about ourselves. Our teams, like we mentioned, they should be these dynamos, these great people. And if a person just is looking to be a clerk or they're just looking for a job and things, I know this might sound tough and things, but they're actually holding the space of someone else that needs to be there. Someone that's going to respect you. Someone that's going to be loved to be on your team. So if you have a person that chronically isn't going along with the program or chronically doesn't get excited when you're growing, oh, I have another new patient. Oh, I have to do more paperwork. That might be the person that's better suited for a job where there isn't any growth and it's more static. So instead of putting up with something like that actually hinders it, because patients can get a feeling of that vibe. They better see a great thing between the doctor and the CAs. And if you don't have a great team, don't be afraid of going out and upgrading and having a person that's excited to be on your team and treat your people the way you treat your people. So that's a great question. Thanks for asking it. Yes, it does apply to our CAs as well. Thanks. Well, there you have it. The top 10 mistakes female chiropractors make. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And here comes the best part, the bennies of watching the webinar live. Number one, if you're truly interested in changing your practice immediately, simply fill out the chiropractic baseline assessment or the practice profile. You'll receive 4 weeks of weekly phone calls and one-on-one coaching with me at zero cost. After the 4 weeks are over, you can already see results and you can decide to join our coaching program or continue to implement these concepts for yourself. Either way, it's a win-win. If you aren't interested in coaching to increase your practice, you can select from the list here to download all kinds of free ebooks and guides. Your choice. If you check out coachingforchiropractors.com, there are hundreds of hours of free content from videos, blogs, webinars, podcasts, whatever kinds of training. Our humanitarian Love Has No Color, helping kids on a reservation in Montana. Number 3, if you're on the fence still, schedule a 30-minute free video conference with me. We'll discuss some of your individualized problems and concerns. We'll get to know each other and understand each other. Until next time, Dr. Kevin saying out.